In this video, we are going to brown some meat in a Le Creuset and also in a stove and pit the light colored interior of the Le Creuset versus the darker interior of the stove and see which one performs the best. Now, the battle between stove and Le Creuset for supremacy at the top of the Dutch oven market is probably unwinnable. Both very high quality products, and I have always advised having one of each. However, there are people out there who claim that one is vastly superior to the other. Now, the Le Creusets are known for having a lighter colored interior, and the people that like the Le Creuset say it's easier to see, especially when developing a fond when you cook, if you have a lighter colored interior. The people who like stove say that the darker colored interior is not that big of a deal. You can see down in there anyway, and it might even be better at browning meat. So today we're going to brown some meat in both Dutch ovens and find out. Now here I want to bring in a special guest, someone who's been a friend of the show, been on several episodes before. You guys give a nice, hearty Uncle Scott's warm welcome to Chuck. Our good friend Chuck Brown Roast. You might even say I'm fond of Chuck, and decided to invite him over for Sunday dinner. Now don't worry, Chuck, I am here to serve you. Actually, what I'm gonna do is get Chuck cleaned up, cut up here, salted and peppered. We'll brown some in each of the Dutch ovens. Then Chuck is going into a nice, warm, relaxing bath of Chianti, and 4 or 5 hours from now, we will be having Peposo for Sunday dinner. Sorry, buddy. Okay, for the test, I have a 5-quart Le Creuset and a 4-quart stove. Not the exact same size. This is not a science lab, but we'll do our best to keep everything as equal as possible. Also going to use this Breville Control Freak and going to cook out here on a countertop. Lots of light out here. And because it's not under a vent hood, should fill the entire basement with beef smoke. So let me get suited up here and we'll get started. Now, if you're unfamiliar with Peposo and want to know how to make that, subscribe to the channel. There will be a separate Peposo video. This video is focused on Dutch oven performance, but in a nutshell, it's an Italian Tuscan beef stew. A lot of pepper, some garlic, some herbs, some salt, and a lot of Chianti. And if you were wondering, yes, I have already been in the Chianti. Okay, heads is Le Creuset, tails is stove. It is tails. Stove goes first. Get the Dutch oven heated up. In goes just a little bit of beef tallow. In goes Chuck. Look at this. I think absolutely phenomenal browning performance generated by the stove with that darker interior. Cook another batch. And really impressive browning. We're getting some sticky bits, some fond developing. And I do have to say, with that darker interior, it does blend in a little bit with the background. Deglaze this guy with a little bit of the Chianti. Now for the Le Creuset, trying to duplicate the same procedure here. Get it heated up, in goes a little tallow, in goes a little more Chuck. I'm going to say really good browning performance. Now, I'm not sure if I am imagining this because I was preconditioned to think that the stove was going to do a better job of browning, but I think the stove actually did do a little bit better job with the browning. But let's take a look at the fond and sticky bits in the Le Creuset. And here we can confirm that it is actually significantly easier to see the sticky bits in fond on that lighter color of the Le Creuset versus the stove. So side by side, browning, I think the stove did a skosh better. Now, was I conditioned mentally to expect that? And I've got confirmation bias here. That I cannot answer. Also though, side by side with the interior colors, definitely easier to see down in that Le Creuset. Woo! Peposo! So I'm interested to know if this swayed your opinion in the Le Creuset versus stove battle, one way or the other. Let me know in the comments section below. My opinion, and this is just as a moderately competent home cook, that fond that developed in the darker interior of the stove, it was a little bit more difficult to see, but for anyone of moderate competence, I don't think it's that big of a deal. I got everything deglazed, and I think the cooking performance between both Dutch ovens was fantastic. It is easier to see down in that Le Creuset. I think the stove perhaps browned the beef just a skosh better. And I'm going to reiterate here the theme I have posited in other Le Creuset versus stove videos, and that is, as a home cook, if you got a nice fancy home kitchen, it might make you happier to have at least one of each. Don't choose between Le Creuset versus stove, choose Le Creuset and stove. That's what makes me happy as a home cook. Now, I have done more videos on this Le Creuset versus stove battle that you might find helpful and enjoyable. Look for links to those somewhere on this screen. If you do choose to get one of these Dutch ovens after watching the video, a very nice and appreciated thing to do is to use the affiliate shopping links below. Thank you for watching. We'll see you again next time on Uncle Scott's Kitchen.